last day to talk about Landman for now. For now.
For now. For now. And we're going to have news on that. The new season of the Dutton Rules podcast is coming. Maybe sooner than you think, maybe sooner than you want. But that's all to come in a really, really packed episode of the podcast today.
Wait, what do you mean it's become a packed part of the episode today? Oh, like what's to come for our
Yeah, we
show?
have a very
Okay.
jam-packed itinerary. So let's
Okay.
let's get right on it here.
Yeah, let's talk the poll question that you've put up. It's rating Landman's season finale. Where are people at?
Overwhelmingly, people loved this episode of Landman. 88% of people polled in this live chat said it was a 10 out of 10. And I would say well over 90 to 95% gave it a favorable. Very few 5 or lower grades. And I mean, some of the positive response I'm reading here. The Landman finale was awesome, freaking epic. I almost cried because I almost thought the complete opposite that was going to happen. I like the ending and how it shapes the future. Damn, what an awesome season finale. This kept me on the edge of my seat. My daughter and I just finished watching 2 seasons of Landman and we are obsessed. Loved this show. I mean, I struggled to find um, people with bad things to say about this final episode of Landman.
Wow,
No.
interesting. Y'all might not like what I'm going to say a little bit later, is all I'm going to say. But before we get into, my 2 cents about the season finale, Billy, what was last week's trivia and who won?
Okay, so trivia last week. This is we do this weekly for a Dutton Rules T-shirt found at the Taste of Country store. Every week we answer trivia question and we take one correct answer from all correct answers. And the trivia question was, where and when did TL get the T-shirt he was wearing when Cheyenne wakes him up?
Where was it, Billy? Because I meant to go look back. I remember telling you I was going to. I didn't.
It was a Mary's Cafe T-shirt, and if you remember that really, really sensitive scene at the cafe, he stops, they have lunch, Tommy leaves early. TL goes to the merch store and comes out with some new garb, and wouldn't you know it, he's wearing it 2 days later. And tell me that's not an old man thing to do, right? To immediately
Wait.
wear the T-shirt you get at the cafe. I
Wait.
love it.
I love that they circled back to that, and they had him actually wearing it. That's awesome. I
We
didn't realize.
have right now, by the way, I mean, we're going to set a record here for like not only the chat, but the number of concurrent viewers and just the overall live stream.
Hmm.
the the Q&A was hopping before we even signed on here today. Oh, by the way, the trivia question, I've responded to the person who won on YouTube, Favreau or something on YouTube, um, was the name of it. But a lot of questions right off the punch here. You want to take a stab at some of these with me?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know where you're starting the questions, but I'm jumping in with you.
Okay, we'll do an official Q&A later, but Sue, longtime viewer here, has 2 questions, and I love the meta nature of these. She
Hmm.
says the cops claimed Cooper punched Johnny 17 times, and by her count, it was closer to 29 or 30. And
Girl, you need to be on Billy's team of sleuthing out the most small things that I don't pay attention to.
I don't know if I have a response for you, Sue, other than I'm gonna trust you on that because I
Yeah.
mean you probably did some rewinding there that I didn't get to. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, here's one. This is also from Sue. TL claimed to be holding hot lips for the first time he was holding someone in 50 years. Wouldn't that make him 32? I think so. The last time he held someone close to him, he'd be 32 years old, 50 years ago, right? Because TL is in his 80s, is he not?
I, I'm not terribly sure. Do we ever get a confirm? I mean, he looks like he's in his 80s, but
He says he is in his 80s at some point.
okay.
Refers to being in his 80s. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember if he says a specific age, but I believe that's the case.
Got it.
Here, one more here. James says, will there be a season 3? I wonder if there will be a season 4. By that time, it'll be 2028, and Taylor Sheridan will have left Landman and Paramount for NBC Universal. So season 3 coming in 2026.
Mhm.
Season 4, if we stay on track, will be 2027. And then 2028, which is when, but I don't believe Taylor Sheridan's television deal with Universal starts until 2029. So he could be committed to Paramount through season 5, maybe even season 6 if we get that far.
Good Lord, let's not get that far. Like this is the issue that Yellowstone had. At some point, we're beating a dead horse. Like, no,
Hmm.
mm-hmm. I
I
think at some
disagree.
point, no, I think at some point we're gonna have too many.
Here's why I disagree, because Yellowstone kind of depended on that drama and it had a very clear story arc. Like, I feel like this show could kind of continue to evolve, bring in new characters, A-list stars like they've done year after year. And
Uh-huh.
I think it could kind of be its own show. Like it's almost more like a network procedural on a streaming service. It's like if Blue Bloods allowed to show full frontal. That's that's what
Interesting.
Landman is. I always go back to Blue Bloods.
Yeah, you do. Interesting correlation there. Didn't love that analogy, but heard.
Yeah.
Well, on on the note of clearly we disagree of how many seasons this show should have, Billy, what was your final grading, or not final grading? What was your grading of the finale?
Okay, so this is just for the final episode, and this
Mm-hmm.
refers back to our poll question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I give the final episode a 9.5.
Holy
I really
crap.
do. Taylor Sheridan, I thought, landed the plane and set up a super interesting season three. There was some cast growth in this episode, and some of the emotional growth that we've just been yearning for all season long was there. And then there was a surprise and what was kind of a happy ending that maybe people suggested, but I don't think anybody necessarily predicted
Mm-hmm.
that feel good moment there at the end.
Mm-hmm. I'm giving it, I agree with all the reasons why you gave it such a positive review. I'm giving it a
But
6.
never, never have I felt a bigger but coming. All right, go on. I'm sorry.
But the reason why I'm giving it a 6, and really maybe I shouldn't give it this low of a score because of this one reason, but considering we are going to have a season 3, I very much so felt like this final episode really tied a bow on a lot of things that I kind of was like, honestly, we could not have a season 3 and I would be content. And I think I was waiting for, a lot of times, I mean, I'll still watch season 3. Like I'm still in. And maybe that's kind of Taylor Sheridan's point of like you're going to be in regardless if there's a cliffhanger or not. But I think for me, a lot of the shows that I love and I'm ticked that like I hate to reference The Summer I Turned Pretty or one of those where they leave you on a cliffhanger that you're like, dang it, I'm ticked that there's not already another season. Like, why are you leaving me like this? I kind of was expecting that. And you don't get that in this. You just kind of get like, oh, this is really sweet. And when we circle back, I'm so excited. But until then, I'm satisfied.
Were you expecting a feel good ending?
No.
No, I
Well,
wasn't either.
no, no. I was expecting someone to that I cared about to die. No offense,
Yes,
Johnny. Couldn't care less that you died.
right.
So I was expecting that. And two, it just kind of felt like, all right, we're done. Feel good
I,
ending. Everyone hug out. Let's go. Bye.
I almost thought um, I saw some other people kind of say similar in that they thought
Mm,
this felt like a little bit like a series ending. And that final scene, I have a clip of it here. It looked a little bit like the Oil Avengers. Everybody's sort of
mm.
standing there like superheroes ready to conquer the next oil conquest.
Yes.
We've got our own oil company. And we're going to drill out this whole damn field. Oh. All right? Now, here's my proposal 25% of the profits is going to be put in a pool and distributed among all the employees.
Oil Avengers,
That is funny.
unite!
It so is. It so is. I didn't even think about that. You were so right.
But I'm good with it. Like, it was a little corny, but I was good with it. Like, it kind of was like, gosh, I really enjoyed that moment there at the end.
I got to last week. We didn't shoot on video, so we won't necessarily see it. But I got to talk to actor Jacob Laughlin, and I asked him if he liked how the season ended. And he personally said that he did because I said it was very kind of the imagery of it was beautiful when you find out that Tommy's naming the new oil company. Is it CT? No, TTC. Is it that or is it sorry,
CTT.
okay, CTT, Cooper, Tommy, TL, and I just feel like that's a beautiful picture of just even mending relationships. And he said that they don't know what's to come in season 3. They haven't gotten a script yet, but he said that he's excited. He feels like it does set up in a really cool and like healthy way of what is to come for their relationships. Like it's a bigger picture. And for that, I mean, you want healthy family dynamics, so I'm not going to say no to that. But like if the
C-
oil rig could have blown up behind them, that would have been kind of nice.
CTT oil exploration, and
And cattle. Oh, and cattle. And believe me,
and
Jacob
cattle.
made sure. I was like, yeah, we were talking about CTT, and he was like, he goes, and I just started laughing. I go, oh my gosh, and cattle. And we both just started busting out laughing. He goes, don't forget the cattle.
And the 18 million? I need a name, Tommy.
CTT Oil Exploration and cattle.
And cattle. Are we in the cattle business too?
No, I just hadn't formed an LLC yet, so I needed something so stupid nobody else would have it.
Found it. Found it.
It's like when you're trying to make a username and Adison Haager's too common. So you're like, Adison Haager 422 ice cream. Don't ask
My
any
next
questions.
email address is going to be billydukes@gmail.com.
If you know, you know.
So we have a few kind of things we know about season 3. In fact, some major updates about season 3 to get to, and we're also going to get to our season 2 final grades here, a review of the second season. We'll get to that officially before the end of this podcast as well. But yeah, let's take it from there. I think we got a little off track from our official rundown, but that's fine. This has been fun so far.
Billy, we're here to not always go by the book, okay? Let's talk about Tommy's job search. Where we enter in this final episode, he's on the job search is what he's up to at this point, at the beginning.
Yeah. At the very beginning, we see him telling TL that he's lost his job. And he's more or less hitting the pavement. He has some meetings, and like we kind of talked about, we figured he'd be kind of a man in demand. He takes a meeting with Bob, who, as it turns out, is the president of Chevron. I don't think that was clear in episode 1 when we saw him. Bob, of course, was the Maytag man. That was another Dutton Rules trivia question from earlier on. And he's trying to get Bob to loan him the money for those wells. He won't do it because it kind of looks like a scam and embezzlement, and he has to stay super, super clean. But he does say, hey, come work for us. I'll give you a 7-figure job, stock options, and all these things. Makes it really, really clear that Tommy could be really, really rich in the Landman industry or being a VP with the company if he wants to, but he wants to take one more home run swing.
Which ends up ultimately being a good idea.
Yeah. Cooper's idea. This is sort of a full circle moment back to Cooper's wells. And I'm not going to lie, I got a little lost in the mechanics of the deal he struck with Galeno and how he's going to get those wells away from MTEX. Because that was the thing, right? MTEX brought those wells Cooper had into their fold, under their umbrella.
Right.
And Tommy is extracting them, but he's not asking the owner of the company for permission to do that. I think Nate kind of threw away a contract at his request. Like maybe the ink was never really dried. And then he went back to Galeno to get that, as it turns out, close to $62 million to pay off MTEX and for CTT oil exploration and cattle.
Billy, I like Galeno. Galeno didn't tick me off. I'm so confused, but I'm not upset about it. Like this last episode, I was like, you weren't a bad dude. You're a businessman.
Is he the most likable Taylor Sheridan villain of all time?
I think so.
How about, well, I'm guessing some guys on the chat will say maybe Sarah Atwood was a little more likable, but that's probably neither here nor there.
You said, yeah. For what reason?
Personality was a little grating.
Well,
no doubt about that.
What we learned, honestly, who the villain a little bit to me, and she's not really a villain, so I say this not with true eyes of what a villain is, but Cammy.
Yeah.
Cammy's more this thorn in my flesh than Galeno, and I for sure was expecting Galeno to be that, which, we learn in the beginning. Who kind of drove me nuts? Not drove me nuts. He annoyed me a little bit, was Nate. But in this episode, I'm like, huh, you've resurrected my faith in you, Nate. So Nate and Tommy are talking. Tommy says, or sorry, Nate says, Cammy's called me to Fort Worth. She never calls me to Fort Worth. He says, or Tommy says, most likely you're going to be named president. La, 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 la. I'm thinking Nate's probably going to take it. But I love that when he was in that meeting with Cammy, he was like, I won and I'm going to actually resign. I'm not going to be president, because that is what she offers him. And he says, but if you bring Tommy back on, he was explaining to Cammy that Monty had created MTEX to essentially sell it. And that the only way that they can really succeed in that is if she brought Tommy back on and, let her do that. And he will also step in and help. But unless that's the case, he's going to step away. And I was like, huh, I just wasn't anticipating that from Nate.
I'm trying to get this. Here we go.
Monty didn't design this company to outlive him. Read enough of those files and you'll learn why. He designed it to be sold. Let us sell this thing before it's the end of you two.
Boom.
That was the moment where Cammy realizes that she got a little over the tips of her skis and doesn't really know how to run an oil company, because now everybody, Tommy, Nate, Dale, Boss, Rebecca, they've all left MTEX. Surely there's going to be some legal repercussions that come with that. Hopefully we don't get too bogged down on them in season 3. But that was a big blow, I think, for Cammy. And I think it helped convince Galeno to give Tommy that extra $62 million.
Makes it sound like it's just casually laying around. Kind of is.
Well, it seems to be, doesn't it?
No, it does.
Nate's character was kind of interesting to me all season long. Like, I felt like he was kind of finding his identity. He was kind of like this kind of chirpy, like woke presence for the first several episodes, where he was always sort of defending like various rights. And by comparison to everybody else in the show, he seemed kind of woke. I'm not really painting him in that corner, but his heart didn't seem in it really into the political nature. So it was good to see him having that moment of redemption, I think.
And I feel like oftentimes he was just trying to be the voice of reason of like, why are these young women in bikinis running around my home?
True. I was putting a lot of stress on him.
I was putting a lot of stress on him.
He was trying his best to run a halfway decent, respectable office in an oil field. Probably the only most respect. He was going for an ideal that probably doesn't exist in the oil field.
I mean, I don't know about that, but we don't need to. We neither here. Tomato. Let's move on.
All right.
Speaking of teenagers, I guess she's not a teenager now at this point, but Billy, my favorite scene in this finale was the scene Paigyn comes back, which I was a curveball. I wasn't expecting Paigyn to come back. Oh, are you pausing me because you have a scene for me?
I was going to play the scene at the end of your sentence.
Oh, beautiful. Paigyn comes back, and not only does she come back, she is the physical trainer for Ainsley's cheer team. Now, do you want to play the clip?
I bet mine's bigger. You're rude little boys. Girls like us don't date boys like you. So gawk away. This is the closest you're ever gonna get. Bye.
Bye.
These teenagers are essentially making fun of Paigyn, being like, are you a guy? Are you a girl? And Ainsley is like, you know what? I was raised right. To hell with this. I'm going to go put them in their place. And boy, howdy did she. And I just thought it was like a beautiful, from there you see them kind of warming up to each other, and it ends up Ainsley coming up to her and kind of coming to a commonality of like, look, okay, if you can bathe the ferret, then if I can listen to music, or they come to essentially terms and agreement of like, here's how it would work if we do actually room together in the fall. They essentially both agree, yes, let's bury our differences. It's okay if we're different, and they're gonna be roommates, which I think honestly was a neat way. I didn't really understand kind of the Paigyn character the last episode, and so to bring her back, and I think it kind of shows a different depth to Ainsley that I am
Yeah.
excited to continue to see because man, that girl was one dimensional. So I think the introduction to Paigyn will kind of give Ainsley a little bit more depth and pop off Queen for standing up for her. And that man, that line was funny.
I was stunned to see Pagan get a second episode. I thought for sure she was a one and done character,
Fully.
but her presence and how that plot line wrapped up is part of the reason why I graded this finale so high. It
Hmm.
really brought a lot of warmth and depth to both sides of a tense confrontation. I mean, everybody was attacking Pagan and her presence on this show after the first episode, but we kind of through Ainsley have a little more compassion for Pagan by the end of episode 10. And Pagan season 3 question mark?
Surely. If they're
I,
if
I
they're
don't
making her her roommate, I don't think she's
well, Ryder, remember the boyfriend from last season,
uh-huh.
disappeared. So Pagan could as well. But I did see an episode with Pagan, the actor who plays them, and they said that they were up for it, but nothing been offered, no sort of deal. Like, so it's still up in the wind. We'll see.
Oh. Interesting. So do we well, I was about to say, do we think that they've started filming season 3? But we have a whole line on our outline here that we're going to talk about season 3. So
We're getting
let
there.
me we're getting there. Okay. So this episode, we I don't even know where to dive into the Cooper Ariana Johnny scene, but we learn Johnny has a heart attack. He dies. Johnny's the one who was coming to sexually assault Ariana. Um, and Cooper winds up when he comes to pick up. Yes.
End of the sentence. Same deal. Hand
Oh,
raised means when
sorry.
done the sentence. I'll play a clip.
Cooper comes to pick up Ariana because she's at the police station getting looked over, saying her statement, all the things. Well, when he gets there, police pull him into an interrogation room. And pretty much he learns because Johnny's died, they looked at the footage. He beat him to the degree that they're saying, you beat him past the point of needing to.
Right. Somewhere between 17 and 30 punches is the correct answer. So they hire Rebecca, who comes in and does what Rebecca does.
Oh, it was awesome.
Let me explain what will happen if this department charges my client. I will go to the family of this man and file civil suit for wrongful death times 10 based on this department's now established policy of holding untrained citizens responsible for knowing when a threat of violence has been eliminated.
Love it. Love it.
I was like, damn, girl, I love you. I'm actually
I wanted
now
to stand up. I was like going to stand up during that scene out of my couch and watch it with my mom. I was like,
that was so good. And she's so right. When she turned it back on them, that whole scene, the whole thing in general, I was expecting it to carry on to season 3. Obviously, it does not. We pretty much tied a bow on that whole situation. They let it go. But that whole thing of where she was like, if roles are reverse and you're shooting a man or this situation's you know when to stop. She timed to the police. You know when to stop because you've been trained to know after 6 punches you've knocked someone out. A civilian would not. I would not. And so man, she mic dropped that and I was like, you're a badass. I love you. I now follow Kayla Wallace on Instagram. Like I am bought in on this character and the actress.
yeah. I would sit there and watch multiple times like a super compilation clip of badass Rebecca boardroom moments, like just all of her times where she just owned that boardroom. Like I need that like before like an important meeting. Like you ever have like an important meeting where you need to convince someone to do something, you need a little hype up. Sometimes people choose music. No, I'm just going Rebecca Falcone taking on the insurance company or the cops or whoever it is. Like that's my hype up track. And the funny part about it is Kayla Wallace seems like the opposite of that. Like she seems like such a sweetheart. I mean, maybe she's just a boss in real life. Who knows? I was surprised to see her come on to the Oil Avengers at the very end of the episode. I didn't know necessarily if she was going to be a part of that.
Not the Oil Avengers. I agree, but I think it's
You
I
know
don't
who's
really
not
know what I'm
on?
trying to say, but what?
Charlie is not a part of the Oil Avengers. He's still with Team Cammy, which will be interesting to see how that plays out in season 3.
I kind of think he's off on that oil rig for 6 months. Like I don't know if we're really. I
This
don't
is
know.
true. This is true. But
We're
to
not
your
gonna.
point, you referred to how Tommy, after his just whopper of a bad day, where at one point he's like, "God, what else you got for me?" Massive car wreck.
That
He
was so
storms
unnecessary. Real quick, that scene
a
happened,
little.
and I wrote down why the heck. Like, explain to me why that was necessary. It wasn't.
It was like they had a little extra money for a massive car wreck that they hadn't spent, and they're like, "All right, put it in there, whatever."
Sure.
It was good. It was a
The
good car wreck.
sure. And I was thinking like maybe this means he won't make it to the like to meet
Right.
up with Rebecca or something, but then it literally had it was just a bunch of men going, we have some extra explosives we want to use that we
Yeah.
haven't used and we can't take it. It's gonna expire. So yeah, let's throw in a exploding cars, seeing cars being tossed in the air. Who
Yep.
knows if anyone lived or died because we never circled back to the scene.
He does eventually get to the police
Stupid.
station where he drops this nugget on really the viewers, because everybody else in the room seemed to know it.
Guess who I just got off the phone with? Chief of staff at the hospital. And everybody here failed to tell me that son of a bitch died at the ER from a heart attack.
Oops. Pertinent info.
Yeah, pertinent info. He didn't even die from the blunt trauma.
Yeah. So I'm glad that didn't hang over. Like, so here's a little behind the scenes. Adison mentioned she had talked to Jacob Laughlin
Mhm.
Thursday of last week, so she had to watch the finale ahead of me.
Mhm.
And I asked, I don't mind people giving spoilers, and she shared that was quickly resolved. That whole situation, almost with some disappointment in your voice, and I would
Mhm.
too took that to be a disappointment. But after watching the episode, I was glad that whole situation with Cooper resolved like it did, like it kind of got tied up like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted him to be at fault. I think they built it up so much. It felt kind of rushed. Like they built it up so much, and then it felt like, oh, we can't carry this into season 3. So let's just quickly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the justice was where it should be.
Okay. So none of that's going to linger over. What plot lines are lingering over into season 3? The new oil company,
Cammy,
uh,
their relationship.
maybe we'll get there.
Is she not?
I'm
Is she not slated for? Okay, whatever.
yeah.
I know it's not next nor rundown, so
Charlie and Rebecca probably, but they could write out Charlie.
I think
Ainsley's going to college.
I think they're gonna write out Charlie, but he will be present in the sense that Rebecca's gonna be pregnant. So I think she's got to be pregnant in order to go on to season 3. She's currently pregnant.
Yeah, but they could film it after
Yeah,
she
that's
has that
true.
baby. If
She
she
looks
was
like
like doing
she's
February or March or something,
yeah.
she could get back on set 2-3 months later. So I don't know. I'm actually kind of hoping she's not pregnant on the show, because while I'm a fan of like a more sensitive Rebecca,
Mhm.
it might be difficult to see like a really mothering Rebecca. Like that feels like too far of a 180, but I'm open to it, I guess.
It's funny. Taylor Sheridan did not ask us, so we're just gonna have to wait and see.
I saw the funniest comment once in one of our videos where someone's like, "Yeah, Taylor Sheridan usually reads the comments and the thoughts of videos like these before deciding what to write next." Like,
Hey, a girl can dream. A girl can dream.
fair. Hey, we're just talking here. We're just talking.
All right. What would you say then for season 2 at large? How would you grade it?
I want you to go first. Final grades for season 3. And if you want to drop it in the chat, you can. Drop out letter grades this time, A through E.
Yeah.
Season 2 as a whole, what's your letter grade?
I'm giving it an A.
Wow.
Why give it an A? And I know this is why we are going to differ. I loved that I did not see as much of the mob scenes and I mean the mob scenes, the cartel scenes and that
Yeah.
kind of blood and guts. I said very similar to Yellowstone when we graded it. I loved that we saw more lifestyle, if you will. Like I got a romance from Rebecca and Charlie. I got less inappropriate teenage half clothed scenes in season 2. I don't know why you're showing me that picture of you're just showing pictures of season 2 at large. Yeah, I think we got somewhere with MTechs and just development there and it was less skeegy with Monty and having the Cammy in the role and yeah, it just I think overall I think I saw more into the depth of humans and the warmness and hardship of that with TL and yeah. So that's where I'm at. It's an
Solid
A.
A for Adison.
Mhm.
No coincidence there. I'm looking here at the chat. I'm seeing B pluses, some B's from people. Rockwall 69, a name I don't recognize. Appreciate you checking in. Gives it a B. I asked this question a lot during the season. What kind of show is Landman? Is it a
Mhm.
comedy or a drama? And I think the fact is something that people have suggested. It's both. That usually doesn't work well, and at times it didn't really work well during this season of Landman. But
Mhm.
so much of my criticism this year was a product of my expectations of this show, having watched Yellowstone in 1883 and 1923. And I think that was a little unfair. Taylor fundamentally changed what Landman is this season. It wasn't the same as it was in season 1, which was much more of a drama.
I
At
agree.
times, that was a little clumsy. Certain episodes felt like a series of disconnected sketches. Others kind of looked like an excuse to back scratch his friends or to justify a character. But it all came together for me in the end. I think back on this season, I forget a lot of those pain points, some of the more irritating moments. I remember TL's emotional scenes between Sam Elliott and Billy Bob Thornton, where he discloses the truth about Tommy's mother and his childhood. I remember a pretty powerful love story between Cooper and Ariana, Rebecca's boardroom speeches, and then later her being smitten with
Mhm.
Charlie. Like the highs are what I remember. The show is not perfect, I don't think, by any stretch. For a long time, Taylor Sheridan running comedy felt a little bit like Stephen King when he tries to write kids. It was just awkward, and you're always sort of glad when they went back to like what they did best.
Mhm.
But he's getting better at it. Like he wrote Tulsa King poorly, in my opinion. And I feel like he learned from it, and we're better off for it from season 2 of Landman. The shows have a very similar tone, but Landman is a much, much better show. It wasn't consistently great, but it was great at time, and the highs for me were better than the lows. So I'm giving season 2 of Landman a solid B.
That doesn't surprise me. Okay.
Looking here, B's, a lot of B's, B pluses. Oh, Thomas Culligan says C plus.
Yeah, no one
I
gave
was
an A.
in C range before the finale.
Oh.
Yeah. The finale really kind of righted a lot of wrongs for me.
Dang.
I didn't think I just thought it was a really, really strong finale. And as I was watching it, I'm like kind of torn because like my critic brain is going, this isn't what I was expecting. It's not amazing, but I really like it. Like it was like it's
See?
like when you meet the girl that's right for you and she's not what you were expecting.
Wow, that was deep, Billy.
Huh?
I said that was deep, Billy. All right. Well, what do we know? Okay, so we tied a bow on season 2. I'm already itching for season 3. What do we know about this?
Season 3 of Landman. A lot of what I know. Well, first we know certain characters are going to be back confirmed. Billy Bob Thornton is back.
Mhm.
Sam Elliott says he's back. I'd be stunned if the principals like Cooper, Ariana, Dale, Nate, Angela Ainsley, I feel like they all got to be back. The one character I could see, I'll tell you who I think is coming back. And this is a shocker as well. Cheyenne could have a major role in season 3 of Landman.
You think?
Tommy kind of gave her a job in that Oil Avengers speech. Like, she's got to be there to help TL navigate the joystick so he can be the lead engineer.
True. The Oil Avengers.
Like, that's shocking to me, isn't it? Like,
I guess
I thought for sure, like I said, she was going to float on. Side note, if I had $1 for every way we were wrong this season, I'd be a very rich man. But she could be coming back as a main character. I'm not sure Demi Moore has to come back as Cammy Miller. Like, we could do season 3 without her.
And this might sound bad, but I wouldn't care.
Kind of the same. Like, if she does come back, I think she'd probably be the villain. Like, I liked her. The acting was good. I just kind of a character that I didn't love.
My commentary has nothing to do with the actress. It's just, the character, I'm kind of going,
I read a great interview with Christian Wallace, who's the co-creator of Landman. It was his podcast that Taylor Sheridan kind of usurped to make this show. And he said that he really kind of laid it out there. He's like, I'm not sure if Demi Moore is coming back. We're leaving it all up to Taylor Sheridan. And so there's a path to that happening. He also shared that production for the show is going to resume in May with an eye towards a similar rollout as we had this year, which would mean a November 2026 season 3 premiere of Landman.
That's so far away.
It is, but at least it's one season a year, right? Like, how many years do we wait between seasons of 1923 and then
for sure it makes
the last
sense.
2 seasons of Yellowstone were especially sort of laid out. So I'll take one season a year, 8 to 10 episodes a year. It seems like they're kind of in a groove now.
I don't disagree. And we'll have the Madison and different things.
The Madison, Marshall's is starting here in March. So we do have a couple of filler shows, and we haven't really had the chat, by the way. And big thanks for anybody who's watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio portion only, we try to do this podcast so that you're getting just as much out of it as the YouTube. So I'll refer to the YouTube chat, who is just having a lot of fun with Tommy Norris's joystick line aimed towards Cheyenne, TL's physical therapist.
Get your head out of the gutter.
I mean, people just loved that line. That was a clever line.
Staff at tasteofcountry.com is where we want to hear what you guys grading wise gave season 2. I'm so curious. Or if you're watching on YouTube, comment there. And I do want to say, I mean, you kind of said at the beginning of this podcast episode on our live, having so many people join in. It's been really fun. I feel like this community has continued to grow, and we couldn't do this podcast without y'all. And so it's been a treat. And I mean, it's not done. We'll continue, but you just never know. So we're grateful y'all are enjoying it, because we are too.
We had a little bit of some chatter about Marshall's, the Marshall show this week, the Luke Grimes show, but nothing really too new there. We know it's March 1st, and we now know that Mo Brings Plenty is joining the show. Although that felt like old news to me. I thought I knew that, but maybe I just assumed that.
And will we be yapping about it here?
Well, I have a plan for that. Marshall starts on March 1st. The Madison starts March 14th, which is interesting because it's a Saturday. I think we come on and we return to the podcast on March 3rd. That'll keep our Tuesday 2 p.m. schedule, and we'll break down Marshall's, the new show, and begin to sort of tease the Madison, which is only going to be a 6-episode run, and we'll do weekly podcasts through the end of the Madison, and then maybe we'll take a little bit of a longer break. I
think I'm going to like the Madison.
I think the Madison is going to be like something we've never seen before. Are we pivoting to that?
We sure are.
All right, Madison. Here's the trailer released last Friday. They kind of snuck it out there, but here's the trailer if you missed it for the Madison.
My center, my soul is gone.
You will heal if you let yourself.
That's an Indian.
Native American.
What do I have? Before I'm too old to do anything more than just remember.
I've decided to feed this and never factor this into the equation.
What
Why do you
stands out to you?
why do you feel like this is something that we've never seen before?
It just feels like such a mature show. Like there's no obvious action. There's definitely no violence.
That's why I
Um,
like it.
it feels like I don't want to say it feels like a rom-com because it doesn't, but it feels like the kind of movie maybe you groaned that your parents wanted to watch as when you were
Mhm.
kids, but now you've kind of come to. It just seems like there's a lot of depth
Yep.
in that trailer.
Yep. That's
Uh,
exactly what I took away from it. A lot of depth. I think what you're going to be tuning in for week by week is the emotional
yeah,
and character development, and less of I'm tuning in because someone's taking my land and I'm having to defend it with my guns.
I think the cast is really interesting as well, especially I mean Michelle Pfeiffer, great actress. Kurt Russell,
I
I
love
know
Kurt Russell.
I do too, but I know him as more of like he always has something comedic going on. Like he's a fun guy,
Santa
right?
Claus, or what was he? Bad Santa?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what was
He was Santa Claus in I forget the names of those movies on Netflix, but he was great there.
Yes, you and I
Um,
are thinking of the same thing.
I know him, of course, as does anybody my age, as Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. But I've just like everything he does. Will Arnett, I don't know if you spotted him
I
from Arrested
did.
Development. Yeah, he's the therapist who tells Michelle Pfeiffer's character Stacy Clyburn that she will heal if she lets herself.
Hmm.
Will Arnett has had some serious roles, but I can't ever not think of him as that guy from Arrested Development and that kind of cringy sort of actor, but really, really funny. So, like, you got these kind of funny actors trying to do some more serious roles, and I think they're probably going to pull it off. The scenery looks really good.
Scenery looks beautiful. Fly fishing, Billy. Oh, be still my heart.
It might be boring. It could be a very, very boring show.
It could be like some, no offense to Netflix. It could be like some Netflix Hallmark movies and shows where you're going, oh, this is so cheesy. But sometimes the cheesy, you keep circling back to the cheesy. You can't get enough of it.
I'm going to show these are some pictures here from the Madison, and these were shared as Paramount Plus. The plot of this is Stacy Clyburn is a woman who has suffered some sort of great tragedy that's preempted her move to Montana. She appears to be going back and forth. Her husband is Preston Clyburn, Kurt Russell. Matthew Fox plays another guy with the last name of Clyburn. It's not clear if that's like a brother-in-law or probably not a son because it doesn't really quite age up right, but he's involved with it somehow.
Yeah, I'm looking.
But like the thing that's interesting to me is there's some suggestion here that Kurt Russell's character Preston is at the center of this tragedy. Like maybe he dies early
That guy's
on,
cute. Who's that?
or his scenes are like a flashback type sequence. And for that reason, it kind of reminds me of This Is Us.
Oh.
Yeah, see? That's that's
Oh.
interesting to me. We're kind of
Huh.
popping back and forth because even here, watch this trailer again
Okay.
with that knowledge and pay special attention to Kurt Russell's scene. They do have like a nostalgic sort of hue to them.
My center, my soul is gone.
You will heal if you let yourself.
That's an Indian.
Native American.
What do I have before I'm too old to do anything more than just remember?
I've decided to feed this and never factor this into the equation.
See, it's all like good times with his character. Like he's fishing, having a fun time. He's running around the plane. They're having a moment at the bathtub. Like that could be memories.
It could be. Ooh, if it's like This Is Us, I will have to emotionally be ready to watch this show, but it's gonna be good.
Johnny writes, "My mom thinks Kirk Russell is dead. You might want to." Boy, is she going to be surprised.
Ooh, that's
Did you
funny.
watch all of This Is Us?
I did. I've never hated and loved a television series more.
I gave up after
I
the first
sobbed.
season. I just couldn't keep in there. But I did Google the ending here right before making This Is Us comparison, so I found out how it ends.
Oh, Billy, I sobbed.
Okay. Johnny clarifies his mom thinks Kurt Russell's character is dead, not Kurt Russell the actor.
Okay.
Well, no, that wasn't obvious. He wrote obviously. No, that wasn't obvious to me, Johnny. I thought that you meant.
Got an AI version of Kurt Russell.
Question here
Alrighty.
from Jeff Matthews. What's the tie to Yellowstone and the Dutton family going to be? I don't know if there's any. I think it's just takes place in Montana. Maybe Beth Dutton will come whisking in at the corner store, but I think it's a separate show inspired by that same landscape.
I agree. And lots of fishing. And only because half those photos you shared, Kurt Russell has a fishing pole or a rod in his hand.
Yeah.
Alrighty. The Q&A for this week's episode I have 3 for us. The first one is Beach City Bay 4497 on YouTube, who writes, why doesn't Taylor write every episode this good? Lots of fluff and nothing in between the first episode of the season and the last. Just my opinion.
Well, because it's really hard.
Yeah, he hasn't asked us to write any of these episodes, so I can only say so much.
Isn't it kind of like if you're in like a symphony, if you start together and you end together, it's a pretty good performance.
Oh,
what happens in the middle doesn't matter.
Not heard.
But no, it was one of his finer episodes. Definitely within the Landman series, no doubt about that.
Todd emailed us saying, wow, what an sorry, let me restate that. Todd on our email says, wow, what an awesome close to the season. I'm glad Taylor steered away from the cliche setup of Boss dying in an accident and writing off the Cooper story this episode of some of the best Sheridan has ever done. I'm glad there's no cliffhanger. Okay. See, Todd, I disagreed. I was hoping for a cliffhanger, but I will say you're the majority.
Doesn't a cliffhanger kind of feel like its own, like, becoming its own cliche? It's like nice to not have one every once in a while. I would have been okay with the cliffhanger, but the fact that there wasn't one, I was like, okay, this is good. Like, I'm gonna watch the next show. Trust me, Taylor. Like, I'm in. You don't need to tease me into that.
Okay.
We live in a clickbaity world. I don't need to be show baited.
The last one I have for us is from Alita Moore 4130 on YouTube, who says, I actually listen to these scenarios because you make sense. The clips are great and well put together with the commentary. I'm glad I subscribed. Thank you so much for subscribing. And I will say all the clips are thanks to Billy, our fearless leader.
I do appreciate the positive feedback about the we do episode previews on the YouTube channel on Thursdays, and obviously there won't be one this Thursday. We're going to do a preview for the Madison on Thursday instead, and a lot of that is just guesswork, not guesswork, educated guesswork. Like as I mentioned, my batting average there is pretty low, but kind of stirs the conversation. And there's so many like AI generated videos out there.
So many
people like that we're human.
We are.
Not hard to make in this business. You just got to be fleshy and people will get down with you.
Alrighty, Billy. Let's close with the poll recap, where we're at there, and then the music that we saw on this episode.
Well, we have no trivia, no new trivia question today because of we're just not going to be back for another month. In case you missed it, we'll come back on March 3rd for the next episode. So we're going to take the month of February off. But this week's poll was rate Landman's season 2 finale, the final episode, and 80% of poll participants gave it a 10, followed by 17% say 7, 3% say it was just average, and nobody out of the 121 votes said it was a 2 or a 3.
Wow.
So very, very positive.
Yeah, very positive. Music this episode.
As I am delaying. I'm sorry, I was just looking through the latest comments here to see if there's any questions that we missed. You asked about music, eh?
Yes. I was like, oh, poor Billy just went blank.
Can't find
it. I asked about
there you go. Okay, I got it. Start of the episode, right before Tommy tells TL he got fired, we heard from Charles Wesley Godwin, a song called Needle Fall Down. Tanner Adell, super fun artist, had a song called Dosey Don't Ya, as Ainsley is at TCU for the first time.
I liked that one.
I did too. During another cheerleading scene, Whiskey Myers played a song called I've Got to Move. And then somewhere early on, an artist named Juliana Rankin had a song called Bad Habits and Good Horses. Julia, by the way, just signed to Big Loud Texas, which is a record label kind of co-founded. Well, this is interesting. Kind of co-founded by Miranda Lambert. Check out that. Hello from Greece, says Conservative Patriot 21. Not making any sort of statement here, but if someone were from Greece, I would not expect them to have Conservative Patriot 21 as their YouTube handle. That feels like more of an American thing, but to each their own. Maybe someone just American in Greece. I'd love to have some more information about where our Greece audience is coming from.
Billy's ears to the ground now. He's intrigued.
Yeah, super intrigued.
Well, I'm wrapping up, Billy, unless you have anything else.
Record audience today, guys. Thank you very much. Up to near 120 concurrent viewers, which is quite a bit more than we had last week. So I'd love to be able to keep this momentum going. It really does the podcast a lot if you subscribe and tell someone about it. And we'll be back in March.
Also, I think this is our longest podcast episode.
Where are we at? No, last week we got pretty chatty.
Oh. What's new?
Yeah.
Well, y'all, the Dutton Rules Yellowstone franchise podcast is another satisfaction-giving Town Square Media podcast.
That was pretty good. Take it again. Take it a second time.
I got excited.
Yeah. New word. I get you.
Not a new word.
Adison learned a new word. All right. No, I'm sorry. I promised I'd be nice this episode.
The Dutton Rules Yellowstone franchise podcast is another satisfaction-giving Town Square Media podcast. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in.